Hi, my name is Corey. I've worked with Existence Project to tell my story with lived experience um, with homelessness and stigma. I just wanted to talk on the subject of Beacon Hill Park. Um, when I first came out here, was about 6 years ago, and one thing that was very difficult was the fact that everywhere in Victoria, when it comes to homelessness, I had the Salvation Army, Rock Bay, Our Place, Pandora, things like that, um, which is all based around um, drug use and helping people that are struggling with addictions. I was sober. I fought my battle a long time ago and fortunately won with addiction, alcoholism, things like that, criminal elements, jail, crime, things like that. And my intent when I came out here, I had no family, no parents, nobody, and I just wanted to start a new life and find where I belong and earn a living and build a life for myself and just and find peace in that and just be content with life. But the difficulty was that I was in a sick environment and you can't get well in a sick environment. I couldn't sleep because there's people staying up all night that are unfortunately, struggling with drug addiction and alcoholism and things of that nature. Um, the Salvation Army was the only place that claimed to be a sober place, and that's where I would go, but they only give you 30 days and then they kick you out, or you have to pay $600 a month to live in a dorm with 30 other homeless men that are going through all types of different things in their lives that I'm not going through. But it affected me. It affected my mental health. It affected my physical health, my well-being in whole. It was deteriorating my well-being to the point where I couldn't function on a daily basis anymore. It was 1,000 times more difficult to get up and go and look for work or maintain work. It was almost impossible. I was completely drained, defeated, and influenced by things around me. If you put yourself in a bad environment, you're going to become your environment. That's why it's very important to surround yourself with the right people, or uh, you know put yourself in the right environment to give yourself the opportunity to grow and empower yourself to leverage yourself, especially out of homelessness. I didn't have that opportunity. I had 30 days. You're not going to get nowhere in 30 days, especially when you've been homeless and without family or parents since you were 14 years old, off and on, trying to provide for yourself. It doesn't come down to addiction or alcoholism. It's just almost impossible to get yourself out of that situation, especially when you're surrounded by all of these elements, criminal elements, people that are using drugs, alcoholism, when you've struggled in those areas in the past. And the most important thing that you need to do while you're going through homelessness is to stay away from those influences completely. Do not expose yourself to them, or you will become victimized by those things, because you're in a vulnerable situation, you're homeless, and you're at your lowest point in life, and it's very easy to make a mistake or be influenced or sucked into a scenario that you just didn't even see coming. And that's why it's very important. For me, what I would do is I would camp out in Beacon Hill Park. Sorry, the camera cut out. So basically, Beacon Hill Park was a way for me to get away from the drug users, the drug dealers, the criminal elements, the bad influences, the negative energy, the fighting. I have a history of violent offenses, of fighting and stuff like that, and I grew up in a really tough place, Hamilton, Ontario. It's like 40 minutes away from Toronto. Big city life, population of over 1.5 million people. It's a violent city. It's not a very good place. Um, so I know the dangers of the streets and what's there when you're in a vulnerable situation, when you're homeless and stuff like that. It's not a good thing, and you have to stay away from it. And it's very difficult to do that when you're homeless. And there should be an opportunity for sober people to stay away from these elements and work on themselves. It's not possible in the way that things are, especially in Victoria, BC right now. I believe that we can do better, and I'm willing to contribute in any way possible with my lived experience, which I'm doing with the Existence Project and GVAT. So in 6 years, I've never seen one fire in Beacon Hill Park. I've never, I have seen random bulks of garbage, which is from bylaw packing people's tents up and throwing them out into the garbage cans, or just leaving them outside of the garbage can. Needles, haven't really seen any needles. There was 2 camps that in Beacon Hill Park that I could observe that were kind of messy, and I could assume that there might be, some of those elements around their camp, but I didn't really see any of that. I can't see it. I didn't really see any needles and stuff. There was 2 camps that seemed to be messy people, which they cleaned their act up after a while, because I was a little upset about that. But very little in the 6 years that I've been in Beacon Hill Park. It's mostly people that are sober that want to get away from Pandora, Our Place, Rock Bay, and Salvation Army. So to take that away from people and not give them another opportunity that's not like Johnson Building, what about the sober people? You know what I mean? There was no opportunity for me. And it was so difficult. It broke my heart. I tried to live in Beacon Hill Park, and by law, and the police would throw my stuff out. I cannot. It is unrealistic to expect somebody to pack up their camp every single day when they have to face homelessness on a daily basis. They have to seek out food, and all these things. It's completely exhausting. It is not realistic. It is not possible. Something needs to change, and the way things are right now, it is contributing to homelessness. It is creating new drug users, and it is mixing everybody in the same pot, and that can't be a possibility, and that should not be a possibility, especially in Canada, especially in Victoria, BC. That's all that I have today, but I would like to express more things based off my perspective in my lived experience being homeless, and all over the country, from Ontario to BC, all over BC. I've been everywhere, and I've tried my best to maintain my well-being, and the system is making it very difficult to do so for sober people like myself. So I felt the need to make this video. Thank you very much.